Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews, and this is episode 7, or actually episode 6 of the Netflix series The Queen's Gambit, and there's a lot that happens in this episode. As we saw in the last episode, which was episode 5, Benny asks Beth if she wants to come with him to New York to stay with him for a little bit so he can train her for the big chess match that's going to happen in Paris against Baltic. So there's a lot of training going on. Well, when they first arrive in New York, they arrive at this apartment building that's like in the downstairs of like this a big apartment complex, and it's a very beaten down, rat infested, pretty much apartment building. And when they go in, the bathroom is gross, and like the shower and all that stuff, and like there's a lot of like you can just really tell that Beth thought that Benny had a lot of money when they first rolled in there, and she's sleeping on an air mattress, and there's a lot of like she's teaching him, but like somewhat she's not listening, and she's like, I do this, but he's like, you should be doing this. And there's just a lot of, you see days go past, in the days of them training, because every time like we know a day goes past, we see like more tickets pop up on Benny's car saying, days have gone by. And there's a night where, she's like, okay, I want to go to bed or whatever, and he's like, you're going to miss it. And then people knock at Benny's door, and there is, two guys and a girl that roll in there, and she's like, and Benny's like, okay, let me introduce you to these two chess masters or whatever. And the one girl that they have there is a model. Like, she models in Paris, and she models pretty much everywhere around the globe. So they're about to cook dinner because the girl brought food in to cook dinner for Benny and the two guys that came with the girl and Beth. So Beth and her are making dinner while those guys are in there and stuff, and they're saying and then one of the guys says to Beth, oh, let me show you this one move that that's like crazy, and she's like, because she's like, I don't do strategizing and stuff like that, and he's like, let me show you this move and see if you can like know what to do. And she figures it out like that, like she's a beast. So she so they're cooking food, and like they're all smiling at Beth, like the two guys and two of Benny's friends and Benny are all smiling at Beth, and Beth pretty much knows that they're trying to scam her again, doing the chess thing. He's like, because he wants Beth to play all three of them at the same time, like he did at like a couple of years back or whatever, when, or actually not even really a couple of years back, like a couple of days, and like in the last episode, how she got like how Benny was going against Beth to see who would go against Baltic in Paris. So the night before in episode 5, he wanted to psych Beth out, saying you can't beat me, don't go to don't do the match against me. So they do speed chess, and he makes her pay every time, like he puts like a bet on it, and he keeps beating her. So this was payback time, and everybody applauded her, saying you're really good. And they leave, Benny's friends, but before Benny's friends leave, the one girl says to Beth, if you're ever in Paris, let me know. And Beth's like, will you be in Paris in a couple of weeks or a couple of days? And she's like, who knows? I'm everywhere. So they leave, and he's like, that was very impressive, you beat me, and beat all them. No one's ever done that to me in like 15 years. And then they have a moment where because Beth clearly Beth wants to have a love. Like, she wants to feel love. Like, she wants to feel that spark that she felt with the one guy that she met in, like, the first episode where, or, like, the second episode where they, like, she goes to her first match and she meets that, like, guy that she really, like, had, like, a spark with. And, Benny even said in the last episode, we're not going to make this a thing, and we're not, sex is off the table. And when he has a moment, where he's drunk, I guess, and, they have sex. They don't show it or whatever, but after that, after they're done, having sex, he says, oh, this is what you should do against Baltic, and then Beth's like, really, that's all you can think about? So I feel like no matter, like, when Beth wants to have a moment with somebody or whatever, it's just, she thinks there's something wrong with her, and she just wants to feel loved, and she just wants that, she wants to have a fairy tale, pretty much. She wants to be swept off her feet, and there's only one person that did that, and she thought it didn't work out, but I think in episode 7 we'll see it somehow work out. But that's my prediction. She'll be with that guy, and she'll have a life with him, or I don't know. There's a lot of things that could happen, but that's my prediction. She'll probably marry that guy or something will happen, or I don't know. But as it goes on, Beth leaves after that. She goes to the Paris finals or whatever. I guess it's a 5-night stay or a 6-night stay where they are, doing everything. You're going against the best of the best to get to, like, the king guy, which is Baltic. So, Baltic and her are all going against everybody, and, Beth, of course, beats all them, and her next match is against Baltic to see who goes on, I guess, to, Russia or something, or I don't know, somewhere. So, essentially, the night before, Beth is trying to, study and stuff like that, and she gets a call from that girl, Benny's friend, which is the girl that, is the model in Paris, and, she says to Beth, I'm very disappointed you didn't call me, you know what I mean? Like, do you want to get a drink down at the bar? I'm at the bar. And she's like, Beth's like, no, I can't, I have a match tomorrow, like a really big match, I can't do it. And, she pretty much guilt trips Beth into doing it. She goes down, has a drink, and somewhat, Benny's friend is flirting with, Beth, the girl that, is a model. So, there's a couple of guys looking at Beth and them, I guess, over at, like, in the, at the bar, but, like, they're in the cafe area of the bar. And, the girl's like, they're staring at you, Beth, and Beth's like, no, they're not. And then, the girl goes over, talks to the guys, and then Beth goes over, cuts to the same, and then we go to the same moment where it all started, is when Beth wakes up in the water in the first episode. And she's rushing through, she's rushing to get dressed to go run through the cafe to get to the match against Baltic. So we're at that moment, and we see someone in the bed when she's rushing out the door to go to her match, and it's the girl. So I guess they had a big crazy night, So she rushes to the match. You could tell she takes 2 pills before she rushes out to go to the match. And you can tell she's really, thirsty, and, she's really, drowsy, and you can tell she's sort of, hungover, and she's pretty much spiraling. Like I said it was going to happen. You could see her start to spiral, and, after her mother, and, no one really showing interest in her, and, she probably feels, alone, and, she just wants to drink herself away. She loses against Baltic, and, as it goes on, after that, she's on the plane. Benny calls her saying, I don't want you going back home by yourself. You should come to New York, and we should study a little bit more for your next couple of matches. Because he said there's still a chance you could go to Russia and, you go against all the other people. There's a chance. And then, she's like, no, I want to go alone, and, because I have to stay at the house for a while. So she goes back, and what do you know, the stepdad's back with the lawyer, and they say, we're selling your house. And then the stepdad even talked about earlier in an episode saying, you can have the house. That was already a deal, but, something must have happened where he's just a jerk and wants to sell the house to get money, or I don't even know. So, and so he's like, and then he's like, Beth says to the dad, the lawyer's there saying, at the house saying, you can't even, talk to your own daughter, what's going on here? You can't even talk to me? And he's like, you're not my daughter. And then Beth's like, you adopted me. You wanted this. And he's like, no, my wife wanted this, so I just did it to shut her up. Same as why I bought her the piano. She was such a crazy woman. And he said, and Beth's like, have you ever even heard her play? She was, stuck in, stuck in a play, she was stuck. She wasn't a failure. I'm looking at failure right now, pretty much, putting a dig at, the husband, that he was a failure, which he's just a jerk and he is a failure. So, he says, she's like, I'll buy the house off you. And he says it's $7,000. And she's like, no, this house is not worth $7,000. And he's like, I'll show you the receipts. And she's like, I'm not, she's like, fine. She's like, fine, I'll pay you. But I'm not paying $7,000. I'm going to, all the money that I paid for, your wife's funeral and her coffin, I'm putting that in the expenses, since I did that. So I'll show you the receipts for that. Putting a dig back on him. And then he walks out, says good luck. She buys the house, she makes it her own, puts all the photos and stuff with the one, just redesigns it to the way she wants the house. And, she's just drinking and smoking and, just pretty much not doing good. You really see her spiraling and you really see her just sad. So then one of the days, she's drinking, listening to music, she falls, hits her head, and, she's just sleeping. And, what's his name? His name is Borgov, the big Russian dude that, beat her, but Baltic is the guy that's, his name is, something, Baltic or whatever, he's the friend of her, in the one episode I was talking to you about, but he visits her, and, knocks on the door saying, Beth, are you here? I'm worried about you. She doesn't answer the door. He leaves. She gets a call saying, hey, you have a match tomorrow. We want to take photos and stuff. She goes, and, she does not look good. She looks super pale, super out of it, super drunk. And, Harry, I think his name is Harry Baltic, yeah. Well, or Henry, his name is Henry Baltic. So Henry Baltic goes there and says, Beth, I've been trying to... Well, actually, first things first, she goes in there. He said, and she's like, do you have any aspirin? Because, she's hungover and she's really pale. And he said, I could go find you one. And she wants to light, a cigarette. And he's like, you can't smoke in here. She's like, of course, storms out. Then we see Henry Baltic say, Beth, I tried, I stopped by your place one day. You didn't answer. I'm really, worried about you. I miss you. And, I could see that, you're like the way my dad was. I could see that you smell like, alcohol. You look very pale and sick. I really think you should get help. Like, I'm really worried about you. And, I saw you at the grocery store because I'm assistant manager there. And, you didn't look approachable. And because Beth said, why don't you, try talking to me? And then, Henry's like, you didn't look approachable. You look like you were in your, you didn't look like you wanted to talk to anybody. You just looked angry and you just wanted to be alone. And, she pretty much made a dig at him saying, I thought you were doing, college classes. And, I'm doing college classes while I am an assistant manager. And she was just making fun of him and stuff like that. So he said, I'm really worried about you. Please get help. And he said, have a nice day. I'll let you be. He leaves. And then the guy that says, hurry up. You're going to be late for your match or whatever. I guess at the high school or wherever she's at. She's just not into it. She leaves and just not in the mood. Goes back to the house, keeps drinking and stuff. Then we just see a car rolling up, and then someone gets out of the car, knocks on the door, and she thinks it's Benny. That Benny came from New York to there just to try to get her help and make her happy and just trying to really be there for her like a good friend because Benny and Henry are there for her and they care about her. So she thinks it's Benny. Opens the door in a huff, and who is it? I knew this was going to happen in one of these episodes. It's Jolene. Jolene, her friend from, the foster home. She looks like a badass. She has a cool muscle car. She has this leather jacket on. She has her hair up and, looking like a badass. And, she's like, whoa, look at you. You look like the same girl I knew in the foster home. And, just cut. So, Jolene looks like she's living the high life. And, I feel like she needs someone. Because remember, when it started, the series, we saw... Beth, she was, getting to the good life, and so we thought, and we saw Jolene's being stuck in the foster home, so we're probably gonna see, it's kind of like a switcheroo, we thought, Beth was living the good life, but she wasn't, and it looks like Jolene's living the great life, so we get to see in the next episode, which is episode 7, the last episode, what's happening, so I'm really excited for that episode. This was episode 6 of my review. I'm really enjoying this series. Again, the soundtrack is phenomenal. The acting is top notch. Anya Taylor-Joy is amazing. I said her name wrong in all the other ones. I'm sorry about that, Anya. If you ever watch this, I'm a big fan. I can't wait to see you in more projects. But overall, love this series. I give this episode a 10 out of 10, and I can't wait to see you guys in episode 7, the final episode. So that was my review on this, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace.